Start now so that I can escape.
And
Escape,
we're
escape.
live. We are on the correct channel. Awesome. Hello and welcome to the podcast. It's been a
Good
while.
evening / afternoon / morning, folks. My name is ScrappyFan92. With me today is my co-conspirator Joey and Harrison and Lewis.
Hello.
Hi. I'm being.
And the podcast by.
No, we've got to go
I
at least
wish.
half an hour.
Today we're here to talk about our own experiences in the industry of bars.
No.
I'm joking.
Apparently, yeah, these guys just talked about all of that stuff like a couple minutes ago. So
Now that'll be its own episode. Right. So actual topic of the episode is this is supposed to be the second part of our sixth generation of consoles retrospective.
yeah,
By
which
retrospective, I mean just us gushing about them and or what's the word?
just kind of going down memory lane, really.
It's called 6th Gen because all the consoles are 6 out of 10s.
Wow, hot take.
Damn, damn. So I've known Scrappy long enough that I kind of know when he's like just dicking around, kind
Oh,
of.
I know. I know.
But like, yeah,
They're actually fives. What?
Oh, it just tends to be back.
4 out of 10. Worse than Sonic 06.
Okay, I wouldn't go
Bro,
that
Sonic
far. Come on.
06 is a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, true,
Yeah,
true.
to a crackhead.
Oh no. Okay, so my audio decided to just screw me over more than usual. Last episode we covered this subject, so I barely got to speak my piece on it, and honestly, maybe that was a good thing. But yeah, I probably said something about the PS2, and it probably just got really garbled. So I don't know. Best-selling console of all time, has some absolute stone cold classics. I bought it way too late in the generation to truly appreciate it. But you know, Sly Cooper and Lego Batman were good.
Yeah, I didn't really. I got like into the PS2 really late as well. I don't really have that much memories with it, but playing some of the games that were on the console in recent times, I can acknowledge that it had a really good library. And I have some fond memories with it, even if it kind of gets dwarfed by the GameCube in that sense for me. But it's the most popular console of the generation for a reason.
Yeah, Sony had a DVD player.
Yeah.
Let's see. I associate it as the console that I played in my cousins' houses. Like, since I didn't own a PS2 till late in the 2000s. Yeah, that's kind of where I got a lot of the experience with it beforehand, and yeah, it had a mystique to it. And it also had Kingdom Hearts, and I just kind of loathed Sony for having that to itself.
Yeah, I mean, you could just say it had Kingdom Hearts. Like, that's all you need to say.
I think that's a lot of people's experience with the PS2. Is just it had Kingdom Hearts, favorite console, 10 out of 10.
Like, the thing is, like when you just list down the amount of cult classics it had, like, it's kind of insane. Like Ratchet, Jack, and like Kingdom Hearts, obviously, had a lot of the GTA stuff, I believe. Like, it's pretty crazy console, and obviously it had a lot of the third parties, which usually PS2 didn't really have the best versions of them, but like, you know, still.
Sonic Heroes.
Yeah.
Clearly the best game ever made.
Yeah.
Depends on the
On
console.
PS2.
Yeah. But like,
It was the GTA
Yeah.
machine, and at one of my cousin's houses, or when he brought his PS2 over to us, like,
mhm.
yeah,
Well,
San Andreas for life. It's
Fair.
yeah, it was a great console, and it was at that time. I probably said this like 2 episodes ago, but like, it was when development was starting to get more expensive, but it was also when developers could still push out games pretty much on a yearly basis. and mostly get away with it.
Yeah, because we had like full trilogies and stuff back then. When nowadays it's like you're lucky to get a series having like multiple games within like 4 years of each other.
Let's put it this way. Nowadays, it's like you'd see a game get announced, like during like the beginning of the console's life cycle, and then it actually released at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
Prime
pretty
4.
sure there's Prime 4.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm aware there are very extenuating circumstances about that, but that's also why you don't announce crap until it's ready.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kids, once upon a time, Rockstar could get 3 Grand Theft Auto games on a system.
Yeah, and like GTA 6 is like been like in development for like 8 years or some crap, like something ridiculous.
Okay, but that's also including the pre-planning stages. Like they've as closed off with any information about the actual game they've been very open about what stage of development they've been on.
Right. But still,
Yeah,
still
game
though.
development is very, very, very hard.
Yeah, the point is though, like back during the 6th gen, like games weren't at these like crazy budgets where it would have to take that long. So like they could make a bunch of games in relatively quick succession.
I think the main problem is they built the GTA 5 engine, put Red Dead on it, and then most of the dev time they've been working on now is developing the GTA 6 engine. It's a new engine.
Right.
Best of luck.
That and also the funny shit where everyone lost their mind over a game that it still isn't going to be out for like at least another year. Like what was it? 20.
Well, I know it got delayed
It was like
next
2019. There was like some like pre alpha gameplay leaks, and it was like, oh my god, GTA 6 is going to be awful. It's
Dude,
like,
those people are idiots. I'm sorry, because maybe if like if you see something that you're not supposed to, and it's like really early footage, and it looks bad, like maybe it's because the game isn't freaking finished. Like, you ever think of that about that?
oh yeah.
And that's why companies don't show off their early footage anymore.
Also,
Yeah.
I think like
Or ever.
half of the AAA gaming industry like went to bat to defend them by releasing like pre-alpha footage of like so many games. I think we saw like pre-alpha of Dark Souls, we saw some pre-alpha of like Doom.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Honestly, speaking of distorting, speaking of marketing, distorting what quote unquote gameplay footage looks like. That, like, or some really infamous like bull shots we got during 6th gen.
Mm-hmm.
Like trailers that masqueraded as gameplay or really fake screenshots. They were touted as official marketing material.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know the funny thing about that is like isn't that what, if I remember correctly, isn't that what Kingdom Hearts 3 did when it was first revealed? Like that was that wasn't actually like proper gameplay footage. That was just.
Oh yeah, the very first trailer. Yeah, that was like, I'm pretty sure that's like pre-rendered.
Yeah, I thought
So it wasn't even in engine.
Yeah.
It was just like it was pre-rendered, tricked out to look like gameplay footage.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, look, so it's the game that people have been wanting for like ages. Yeah, it's not going to come out for a while, but like it exists.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Does
hear
Sora
about
ever
it
get
for a while.
chased by like a swarm of Heartless?
Yes, several times.
Does it
But
involve him
was
doing
accurate in
parkour?
a sense.
Well, the game has like parkour baked into its like general just gameplay, so
So it was accurate in a sense.
yeah, it's like a general like proof of concept, but like, yeah, generally speaking, I do prefer when games just are shown when they're closer to being released, because what is it's I'm kind of tired of games just being announced like 4 years in advance, because Microsoft especially love doing that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
all of them got cancelled.
Not all of them. Perfect Dark's still coming out. I know that much.
Oh damn. I might actually play that.
Well,
You know,
True,
I don't.
well.
It's weird. I don't get fussy about them when like movie studios do that, but with games, I just get really impatient for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just something about the difference in mediums, I guess.
Probably. It's like they're two very different yet very similar kinds of industries.
Yeah. I think the thing
Like,
with
so many games and movies aren't the same. What is this?
I think the other thing I think the other thing with games is that there's new games coming out like every other day. So it's like you kind of want to like get people to buy a game when it's like big in the public conscience, and I think it's easier. I feel like it's harder to do that when you announce a game way in advance, and then it kind of peters out. Like I don't know.
Hey, Peter.
Beta.
Peter.
So yeah, PS2 is good. DualShock 2 might be one of the best video game controllers ever made. So
Oh, absolutely.
Truth. There's one video.
only 2 controller ports as a basis is still nonsense. So
All I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
we've got a controller coming up later that Joe's not so fond of, but we'll get to that.
Okay. Well,
I'm not a fan.
Okay. Well, I probably. Yeah, I don't want to like yuck yums, but like I don't dislike the DualShock 2, but like it's definitely not one of my favorites. I think it's
flog them.
it's I don't like how close the analogs are, and the analogs is specifically just I feel like they feel a little bit too rough to me.
Dude,
Harry,
what did you
Harry
do
Lewis,
to your PlayStation
you know where he
2's
lives.
analog
Hold him down.
sticks?
I will fly down with the flog.
I mean, I don't dislike the controller or anything like that, but like
Joe's the
it's-
one that knows where he lives. I fucking don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I've used the PS4's modified DualShock design for so long. If I went back to like the older shape, I'd probably get carpal tunnel. But
yeah, I think I should probably like say this about it as well. Like it's for the time especially, it's like a fantastic controller. But like when I compare it to like DualShock 4 or the DualSense, it's hard for me to go back. I just find those a lot more comfortable.
I mean, I think I'd hope
Did you
they
just
were more
compare the
they'd be more
DualShock
comfortable.
2 to the DualShock 4?
Well, it's
They're
it's
the
not
same
suppo-
thing.
Well,
Not
it's similar.
not they are. In
They're
terms of
very
like
similar, but like,
in terms of like the general like layout of the console, yes, but like in terms of like there's a lot of like different like little differences that like really it adds up. It like they do not feel the same to like hold at all.
DualShock 4, for lack of a better term, sounds. I know English. The DualShock
We're same.
4, for lack of a better term, I guess feels softer to hold. I guess more ergonomic.
yeah, it's got more curves to
yeah.
it than like the first 3 Dual Shocks.
Yeah, but the primary
Yeah.
complaint was the distance of the analog sticks, and they're the same.
Well, I have nothing to say about that.
No, well,
I haven't measured them. I assume they're the same, but I wouldn't know.
it doesn't feel the same.
It probably widened them like it's by a touch, but that touch is all it needs.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Either way, the entire line is not as comfortable as the analog placement that Microsoft made standard.
Hmm.
With Microsoft,
Yeah,
your thumbs are always where they need to be.
Yeah, I do think that I think what I will say is that I think the Xbox analog layout is generally better just for the regular sticks, but I think Sony definitely has the best D-pads for sure.
I find the Xbox Series X D-pad to be a touch too clicky for my tastes.
It is a little bit clicky, yeah.
Like it's distracting when I'm trying to do his move in the game.
Yeah.
Like I want the face buttons to be clicky. I don't want the D-pad to be clicky. I don't know why having a D-pad being clicky is such a big deal to some people, but fucking hell.
ASMR.
Yeah.
I want game
No,
function over ASMR.
Honestly, I'm waiting for a video game controller, a console controller, to have like the face buttons just be ASMR.
That would be pretty good.
So, gentlemen, what are our thoughts on the Dreamcast controller?
I've never held one in my life.
I have, and it's very weird.
Kind of clunky. It's like holding two rectangles on the sharp side in your hand.
Doesn't it also have the VMU thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, the VMU is not really a problem. It's just like, it's so
Like
much
the-
girth.
It's like the Wii U, the gamepad before the gamepad.
No, it's more okay. I'd more compare it to like a toned down version of the Duke, which is the original Xbox
I
controller.
was kind of gonna say
I'd
that,
say
like,
it's a
Right.
cheaper version of the Duke.
But the funny thing about the Dreamcast controller is it was the first to utilize. No, I don't think it was the first, but it was the first like main controller of the game system to use Hall Effect joysticks, which have started to become more popular in a lot of third-party controllers.
Magnets.
So, this is going to get a bit technical, but for basically, Hall Effect joysticks use magnetic sensors rather than the potentiometers you found in like your regular controller joysticks,
Right.
and they're more resistant to air. Ergo, you won't. You're very much less likely to get drift.
Yeah. That's the reason why the Switch 2 isn't using Hall Effect, because with the magnetic Joy-Cons and all that, it would just cause a lot of drift issues.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm.
Sony solved this
We haven't
problem in the PS2 era. Everyone
What did
ignored
they-
it.
What did they do?
What, in
The
Hall Effect
PlayStation 2,
joysticks?
the PlayStation 2 joysticks automatically calibrate themselves upon startup.
What
Yes.
is that?
So they
Tell me that.
learned.
TIL.
Well, what kind of joysticks are they? They aren't Hall Effect, are they?
Don't believe so. I believe they're a mechanical dual stick, but they were designed with counter drift in mind.
Right.
Oh wow! The fact that they
Okay.
saw drift as an issue as early as back then,
Yeah.
That was 25 years ago. Goodness gracious.
Have you seen
and yet
the GameCube
Nintendo can't
controller?
fucking do that.
Like, those analog sticks will break.
No, that's the Nintendo 64 controllers.
Oh, well, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen too much of an issue with the GameCube controller sticks. The only real issue I've had and seen with them is snapback, but that's about it.
I've had issues with GameCube controllers before. Like they usually work pretty well, but like after a lot of use, they tend, like from my experience, like something tends to go wrong. But like, I don't know.
I will say this though, Harry. That GameSir controller you bought for the Xbox, that's you probably already know this, but that's got Hall Effect joysticks and.
Oh yeah. It has
I bet
the
they
back
feel-
buttons as well. Yeah.
I bet those sticks feel like really weird compared to regular joysticks. Like a bit more smooth.
It is pretty smooth. I'm trying to feel the difference right now. Like, honestly speaking, like, I don't really notice much of a difference between the analogs with most modern like controllers now, because they feel pretty similar in a lot of ways. Like, it's very minor differences, I feel like.
It's just that subtle feeling.
Yeah.
I had a problem with my GameCube controller once.
What do you think happened?
My cat grew up on it.
Ah,
Yeah, that's not a manufacturer problem. That's a you problem.
No, that's his cat's problem.
wait, when did you have a cat?
Almost 20 years ago.
I didn't know about this.
I have a cat currently.
So
He is a fluffy asshole. He is he's basically fucking feral, and he is hyper off his tits right now outside my house.
yeah, mine's such a big little fluffy diva, and
Yeah.
I don't think
she's
I'd replace.
adorable. She loves me.
She is when she's not
Yeah.
hissing at you and
She has never hissed at me.
hiss at you,
I-
you lucky bastard.
Okay, I will give a I'll say this about GameCube controllers acting up. To be perfectly fair, a lot of it is probably due to just me being or like just like very what is it doing stuff. What is it? Just putting the controller through the ringer basically. And a lot of the other controllers I had were weird third-party knockoffs. So
I used to have an Xbox controller. Like, I think my older brother had got at least 4 controllers for Halo multiplayer, of course, and
mhm.
we probably owned at least one Duke, and we probably owned a more slimmed down model of the controller, and I think we had like some third-party controllers, one like translucent red and one translucent blue. I probably used a red one because red is goat, and yeah, that's
My
just,
boy.
that's my. Like, I just miss multicolored controllers.
Yeah.
This is why I go third party.
So do we try and get back on track a little bit? Do we what memories do you want to touch on about Dreamcast?
I don't have well, I do have memories per se. Like we did have a Dreamcast years and years
Oh,
ago,
right.
but one of the only games I can remember off of it, off the top of my head, is something like either a rally
Like
game or
Shuffle.
no. I'd have repressed that if that was the case. No, we're gonna say South Park Rally.
Is Sonic Shuffle really that bad?
My cousin had a demo of it, and I got 4th place, and that has nothing to do with its actual quality or lack thereof. But that's just something I wanted to share with you all.
No, that's just it. But that's just a Mario Party experience, but not.
Yeah. Guys, I don't have memories playing Dreamcast. That's why I'm asking Lewis.
Like I have played some. I have played the original Sonic Adventure on it, which actually feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the not being able to skip cutscenes is a pain in the ass. But
Yeah, I was gonna say if it had the option to skip cutscenes, and like, I think mission mode was also added into DX. If it had those two things, it would be definitive. Definitive.
Yeah, there is no definitive version of Sonic Adventure 1. It's kind of
the only thing, the only close thing is the Dreamcast conversion mod for the.
Yeah, unless you do like a lot of download a bunch of mods and stuff, but like, you know,
Then that just gets a bit cheating.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the quote-unquote best versions of Sonic games are like through like mods. So,
and like other games that I've played on the Dreamcast but yeah, South Park Rally, that was way back, unless that was the N64 version. I can't fucking remember. Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio obviously played on different systems. Like I played Crazy Taxi in the arcade, which
what's an
is an
arcade?
experience. Yeah. I don't know. Forget. I think I repressed that as well. No, playing the actual arcade cabinet is an experience because if the arcade cabinet doesn't have a seat for you to sit on while you're trying to operate the pedal, it is so janky. Like having to stand up and play that bloody arcade cabinet is so bad. And it's the same with. And there was what was it? There was a Ridge Racer. Okay, at that same arcade, there was also like a classic Ridge Racer cabinet, which also had the same issue.
You're gonna make me start screaming out the name of the game, aren't you?
Oh, go on.
No, I will not do it. I don't have the lung capacity for it, and Joey's father's asleep, so...
I have headphones, bro.
And I just don't have the energy to scream that loudly right now.
I don't have the energy. I mean, that's never stopped me from doing stupid stuff before, but not today, so you're lucky. I'll just waste your time instead. So... You guys think there's a modding scene for Sonic Shuffle?
What?
Very good question. I'm gonna look it up.
While you do that, there's also Jet Set Radio, which I did a few streams of 5 years ago, and I had a lot of fun with that game. Truth be told, but for some reason I never went back and finish it, which I might think about doing soon. Because Jet Set Radio's soundtrack is just that good.
I didn't own a Dreamcast, but again, one of my cousins had it at their house. And yeah, I'd sometimes either play it or like watch them play it just as a youngin'. And before I learned what console generations were, I just assumed it was of like the PS1 and N64 generation. I never saw. I don't think I've ever seen a Saturn in my life that wasn't at like a retro game store.
Okay, the only mod I found for Shuffle is Above on Battlefield mod, level mod.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
So, the Dreamcast is just a console of, I don't know, it's a console of a vibe. It has aura. Like, all consoles have aura, but Dreamcast has an aura. And the fact that I guess, this is probably callous to say, but the fact that it died early in some respects gives it has almost given it more value in that regard. Like,
it's almost given it some sort of mythical status in a sense.
Yeah, I would say I like that you brought up that whole thing though, because the big reason 6th gen overall is my favorite console generation is just the vibes, like the vibes they give off, like the stops, the controllers are a big part of it, and just the kinds of games that would be released back then, like the general graphic visuals and whatnot. Like this era just had these like vibes that like aren't you can't really get in with other console generations. Like every console for 6th gen had like a banger startup.
Hey Harry.
Yeah.
Did 6th gen comms ever exist?
You have to ask Xavier.
Damn.
The vibe, I think, was just, I mean, it was many things, but partially just all these consoles that came out around the same time, came out around Y2K or in like development around Y2K. Like,
yeah,
it was the future, and we actually thought 2000. We thought the 2000s were gonna be cool.
Yeah, I think the graphical step up from the 5th gen as well was like really like felt very like really huge. Like felt like it was probably one of the biggest graphical leaps we've had. And like yeah, it definitely felt like the future at the time.
Look,
I think there's a few games that kind of like encapsulate that feeling of just we have peaked in graphics. I think the Dreamcast port of Soul Calibur, I think, was the time when the consoles surpassed the arcades.
Yeah.
So, Sega kind of killed its own base outside of Japan. So, thanks, Sega.
I think they were starting to get there for like some of the 2D games around the Saturn time, but like Dreamcast is when it really started to pick up. But unfortunately, a lot of the arcade Sega Rally games didn't, like Sega Rally 2 didn't unfortunately translate well over to the Dreamcast. Apparently that port has a few issues, but yeah, beside that, the Dreamcast, like starting with the Dreamcast, the 6th generation was just like, God, there'll never be another gaming era like it. And I like games. I like some games of today, but Christ Almighty,
But I'm not like I in terms of like the good stuff. I think we arguably have it the best we've ever had in that regard. But like
In some ways.
in some ways, in like the a lot of the behind the scenes and a lot of the corporate bullcrap that's been like really bad. But just in terms of like general game quality and variety, I think we're the best like we've ever been in terms of that. But I I don't know, like
Put a pin in that, actually.
yeah.
I will
So,
say-
I think because I think the thing is like um I think the difference with now compared to like 6th gen is that there like console exclusives and all that were much more of a massive deal back then compared to now. Where like with consoles nowadays, generally speaking, you can just get one console and you'll be able to get most of the games that you want. There's like still exclusives and all that, but like unless you're playing like Nintendo consoles, they're not really much of a factor anymore. Which is a big reason why 6th gen is still my favorite. Just outside of the vibes, it's also just my favorite because every console just has had its own distinct library, and like it felt more like they all had their own flair a bit more than they do now. If that makes sense.
Case,
No,
I see what you're saying. Case, like, I can try to remember. I definitely recall multi-plats. English. I definitely remember the 6th generation as being the gen where multi-plats were just cool, sort of. Like, it depends. Like, there were more multiplats than there were beforehand, and technically after because
Yeah.
of how the Wii functioned. The Wii functioned versus the HD twins, but
Yeah.
yeah, 6th gen had a lot of multiplats, but yes, there was still a good deal of exclusives for the consoles. PS2 taking the lion's share for obvious reasons.
Yeah, obviously, like, there's always going to be, there was always, like, a lot of multiplats, but, like, yeah, PS2, like we've been saying, like, PS2 had a bunch of exclusive, like, Sly, Ratchet, Jack, and like, Kingdom Hearts, and all these other stuff. Like, GameCube had Pikmin, Melee, Zelda, and all this other stuff, and then Xbox had Halo, and did Gears of War start on Xbox, the original Xbox?
No, it was 360.
Okay, well, I'm not as familiar with the original Xbox lineup, but like, point is like you had like distinct lineups for each console, which I do kind of miss nowadays.
Some of that was just, I mean, some of that we can probably thank/blame Microsoft for.
Yeah.
As consoles, I don't mean in modern day. I mean as of 6th gen and onward, because
Right.
during 6th gen, Xbox was kind of the odd one out, and then it was kind of just a souped-up PC. But PS2 and GameCube, I think, were a bit more bespoke with their hardware, sometimes to their peril. But
Yeah.
as the generations go on, yeah, the consoles get a little more similar, which does make third-party development, I would hope, a bit easier.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: that like the sixth generation era was literally like the first era in which case you could look through the different ports and you could probably see no difference. Like we're sort of getting there with the 5th generation, but you could still see a few examples where like the Saturn, you could probably tell some polygons were a bit more rough around the edges than the PS1, and the N64 probably could speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
But like the 6th gen, you could probably look between the ports of like GTA San Andreas, for example, and like between the Xbox and PS2 versions, you just outside of a few like differences in the lighting, you probably couldn't tell much differences.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I like about 6th gen as well is that it feels like before HD and all that, it feels like the it feels like a more polished and more refined 5th gen, where like the games are what is it just generally speaking, they're more clean looking. Like the 3D game development by that point has been more figured out, and it feels like a very smoothed out version of fifth gen in a lot of ways. I think.
Yeah,
it was.
Fifth gen was like where the graphics started to come in, but like the but the play styles were more it was still arcadey.
Yeah.
Before everything
I-
started, before everything started going, oh, we need to start being a bit more realistic, and all that junk, and then
Yeah.
all that got thrown out the window, and we got ultra realistic graphics and play styles that feel like a slog to play.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, that's the other thing as well with this is back when a lot of big name companies and developers weren't against doing like cartoony stuff.
Oh, you must have your
Zelda
character.
fans say otherwise.
Oh, you must have your character take a full second of full 60 frames per second to swing your weapon at this particular monster because realism demands it. Fuck off! I would rather play Devil May Cry. Thank you.
It kind of depends on the kind of game in that regard. Like I think like something like a Dark Souls or whatever, I think makes more sense to be like realistic like that because that's the kind of game it's trying to be. But I think there still needs to be like a Devil May Cry Bayonetta or like your crazy, unrealistic, just go balls to the walls kind of games as well.
I mean, we are getting Ninja Gaiden 4 later this year. So
Yeah.
I still,
no- Yeah.
still need to play all.
Sixth gen is a.
games.
What'd you say, Lewis?
I said I still need to play all the through all the Ninja Gaiden games, both the 2D ones and the 3D.
I don't want to.
We're getting a new 2D Ninja Gaiden soon, and we're also getting a new 3D Ninja Gaiden soon. So
Oh, I didn't realize we were getting a new 2D one.
yeah, I forgot what it's called. But
Yeah, I do.
I'll look it up for later. What?
Rage Bound is what it's called.
That's
Okay. Yeah, I do want to check out the Ninja Gaiden series as well at some point.
There's a case. Sorry. I guess I go back to the realism argument. Really, sixth gen's where that. I mean, it's always developers have always tried to chase that dragon of, I guess, fidelity. Sixth gen's probably where it's to start to amp up because
Yeah.
graphics finally were kind of good enough that we could get some decent facsimile of semi-realistic like humans. Like, yeah, some franchises like Silent Hill still had some level of stylization to kind of keep things from looking too uncanny, but
Yeah.
they're definitely chasing that dragon, sometimes to their own peril, sometimes just to the. And then sometimes developers wouldn't chase it, and then fans would get annoyed. Case in point, Zelda.
Yeah. I think the thing is like they've always like developers have always like tried to make games realistic, but they were just limited by technology at the time. Like a lot of fifth gen stuff. Well, maybe not a lot, but there's a good chunk of games that are trying to go for a realistic art style, and are just like held back by limitations, and that just slowly got pulled back over time.
I'm not gonna lie though. There is a thing that like the fact that Wind Waker has aged slightly better than Twilight Princess is why I always advocate for style graphics.
Well, in terms of art style, Wind Waker is aged a lot better. Yeah.
It aged better than that tech demo too.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
I will say in regards to that specifically, I do have to like sympathize with people that didn't like the art style at first because you have to understand at the time people were used to Ocarina of Majora where they went for a pretty realistic art style for what the N64 could manage, and when people saw the Space World demo, they got really excited for like what a GameCube realistic Zelda could look like. So I can understand the disappointment when you see Wind Waker after that. Like I get it.
Fair enough. I mean, but I mean, the N64 Zelda games, if you at least look at their promotional artwork, they're anime as hell.
Yeah.
Like the colors on the art are bright. I remember people complain that Majora's Mask 3D looked too colorful. It's like it looks like the art.
Yeah.
Like these games were not supposed to be gray.
Yeah.
We had an entire console generation where a lot of the games turned out to be grey or like browns and shit like that.
It
was
was
dull
called
as
the
hell.
7th.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the 7th gen just feels really weird to me in a lot of ways because it's like the next 5th gen where it's like it's this weird like
Growing pain.
growing pains period. Like 5th gen was the growing pains for 3D game development and all that stuff, and then 7th gen was like this is the first time we're doing HD, and because of that, a lot of those games look pretty crusty nowadays.
They have like the opposite problems in some respects, or I guess opposites. I guess visuals in some respects. Like fifth gen game, you're not going for realism or like hyper saturated, which I kind of miss.
Yeah.
7th gen is often desaturated, full of bloom.
Oh, the fucking piss filter.
Piss filter.
I love
Fallout
it.
New Vegas
Gears of
looks
War gets a pass.
amazing,
Gears of War gets a
okay?
pass. Mushroom Kingdom from Brawl gets a pass because that's funny.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, Mushroom Kingdom has a piss filter. That's funny.
I didn't even realize that. That's funny.
Like I will have a lot to say about 7th gen for good and for ill, but that is for another podcast. in like
Yeah,
2 years.
that's a lot. There's a lot to say about that.
Look, it's one of my favorite gens. I like. Spoiler alert! I actually do like 7th gen a good deal for.
Yeah, I
some
do
reasons.
too. I have a lot of memories with 7th gen as well.
One of the reasons is because 7th gen seems like console developers kind of re-embrace what 2D level 2D game design was. 6th gen had some great strides in 3D game design, but console developers like ew 2D, ew sprites.
Yeah, that was the thing as well. Like during this time, like it was pretty much, if you aren't making a game like 3D, then just don't make it at all. Which I'm glad that's not the case nowadays. But yeah.
I mean, when you look, when you think about it, Hollow Knight has sold like three plus million times. So it's
like,
still has a market. Thank God.
Yeah, that's why stuff like Mario Wii, Rayman Origins, and like Mega Man 9 and 10 were such a big deal at the time because 2D games on home consoles were kind of a dying breed during that generation, or during the last couple generations.
Okay, I do love the 7th generation, but one thing I don't love it for is starting the oversaturation in shooting games. Like that's when
Technically, 6th gen started out with Halo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. To be fair with that, I feel like there's always going to be an oversaturation of some genre. Like, there was a time when platformers were like everywhere, and then that fizzled out, and then it became shooters, and then nowadays I think it's like a lot of the like
hero shooters. I don't know.
Battle Royale and like the hyper realistic, like photorealistic, walking simulator kind of stuff. Like,
fucking had the same.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel there's always going to be like that one genre that it's just kind of everywhere, just because for some reason it just ends up getting ridiculously popular.
Popular and kind of indicative. Pardon?
High roguelikes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, roguelikes too. Yeah.
Like I can't really speak much because Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is also a roguelike game. So it's a bit ironically for me to be bemoaning the fact that we've got too many fucking roguelikes in this genre.
Yeah.
I have one of my main like top 10 games be a roguelike, but it's just.
Yeah.
Like,
Am I weird for having that like for being like critical of how saturated this genre really is?
No,
I mean you can still be critical of that and still like enjoy games in the genre. Like I don't know. Like I'm not a huge fan of how much shooters like took over for a long time, but there's still like a decent amount of FPS games that I do enjoy a lot. So
Yeah, same.
Your thoughts, Joey?
I'm starting to get into. Yeah, this is the FPS guy. Let's talk to him.
I
Yeah.
like FPS games. I
We
have
know.
recently seen them get, and the correct word is enshittification. I've seen them suffer crippling amounts of that. I do not like hero shooters. The
Fair.
only one that I liked, unironically, sorry, the only two I liked unironically, were Apex, and to be fair, not so much anymore, and Team Fortress, and again, not so much anymore.
I mean, Team Fortress, damn good taste.
yeah, that was like, yeah.
As for
Like,
on a
battle royales, they have their place. They should not have building mechanics.
But my Fortnite.
Fuck Fortnite.
Yeah. You're,
No
you're,
comment.
Fortnite no
these
build is actually the competitive mode. Changed my mind.
No, I agree. Fortnite no build is actually the most fun I've had playing Fortnite.
Didn't they get
That's
rid of
only
the build?
fun I've had playing
off the
Fortnite.
items, just so you know.
Wait, do
No,
not.
they took it. You're thinking of like really early in Fortnite's history. It
Oh yeah, Fortnite
it
saved the
was
world.
removed and then it came back, and now it's the second most popular game mode.
Ah, okay.
So what I'm about to say,
Or at
is
least it was.
these
It might
people-
not be anymore because they added Guitar Hero to Fortnite.
Yeah, they did actually. That's so funny.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. And now we're getting more. And now, as a result of that, we're getting more third-party guitar controllers again.
Hey.
Yep.
So I'm happy with that because I can finally get Clone Hero up and running on my thing without having to connect my Wii Guitar Hero controller to it, which would be a process and a half. But all I'm about to say is Ultra Kill. Like that that game is like one of the best FPSs like out there.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't Ultra Kill have like ridiculously religious overtones?
Yeah, but that's what makes it more raw.
True. Like, I swear to God, the final boss is Gabriel, and like he's just kind of a whiny bitch.
Yeah, he's also voiced by Gianni Mastroianni, and that's like the part of the charm, and it's so fun.
I might need to play Ultra
Like-
Kill at some point.
Yeah, you do. It is so fucking good.
I mean, I also need to play Bolt Gun.
Play Ultra Kill first.
I mean, Bolt Gun has a free version.
True, but in Ultra Kill you can parry a coin.
Yeah,
No, you can
but
parry.
Bolt,
no, you can parry.
Bolt
no,
Gun
you can
has
parry,
you typing to kill demons.
No, you don't parry the coin. You shoot the coin, and it automatically tracks your enemies. So if you can shoot the coin, if you can shoot the small ass coin, you get a fucking hit, and you get most likely a kill, and the coin, and it is one of the best feelings.
Aye.
And you can parry everything, and it's also just.
I'm not really a fan of parrying, but I also don't like the new Doom game.
Well, Dark Ages or Eternal?
Dark Ages. I mean, I don't like Eternal either, but that's for different reasons. Eternal is for game design reasons. Dark Ages because it's just not great.
You're gonna get modern Doom fans after you now?
No, 2016 scouted.
I forgot Doom came out in 6th generation.
Well, so I liked Doom 3 before it was cool.
I know barely anything about Doom 3.
Doom 3 is basically a Doom reboot.
Is it like non-canon now? Like, is it?
I mean, Doom 1 is canon, Doom 2 is canon, Doom 64 is canon, 2016. Dark Ages is canon. Oh, by the way, all DLCs for games mentioned are included in canon. So, Eternal is canon. I don't know if 3 is or isn't canon. If it is canon, it's because it's a retelling of 1. Or
Okay.
it's considered Doom 3 is the first game.
Hmm.
And then Doom 1 is Doom Guy returning to Mars because he's still with the UAC of Earth of his original timeline.
I learned.
Hmm.
I guess wheel back to the topic of genre oversaturation. It really, I think it really is case by case basis. I guess there will be like good examples of any genre that might be a bit stretched thin, but
Right.
also whether I guess a genre deserves quote unquote to be oversaturated. That's just down to personal preference, I guess, to how novel the genre is, and I guess how
Bejeweled is
many
a genre,
knockoffs
and
it
it has
gets.
too many knockoffs.
Like I'm trying to think when 3D platformers, like the general reign of 3D platformers is also in its infancy in the 5th generation, so that's a bit of an odd case where it's kind of its boom period was also its birth period. So we got some of the best games, but also they all kind of had some jank.
Yeah.
But it was so good.
I live for that junk.
6th gen was interesting because it was kind of like the maturation, I guess, in terms of both game design and sometimes story.
It wasn't
for
perfect
Honestly,
as it needed to be.
I think the 6th generation, despite the beginning of the flooding of the market of shooters and the end of the flooding of the market of platformers, genuinely had like a very well-rounded library across all consoles.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, it did.
It was the last generation where mid-tier games, if you want to call them that, could kind of thrive on every system.
Oh yeah, double A's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't you believe? Yep. Well, actually, wouldn't you fucking believe it? Double A's are coming back now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Triple A's freaking expensive.
Triple A's expensive as
yeah.
hell, and a lot of indie developers. That a lot of people that Gen Z. Yeah, a lot of them and their indie games like insert favorite indie game. Please don't shoot me here.
Yeah.
Those developers are starting to make bigger games because
which have started to, which is it cycled back round into some indie studios becoming double A studios, which
we need a lot.
Let's be fair, this market sorely bloody needs because AAA is.
And let's face it,
it's like
co-op action horror is like the biggest genre right now.
Because like the
co-op action horror.
Yes. Any game that is a co-op game, but you have options, you just have to get good to earn your options. I would consider that a co-op action horror.
Right.
Dead Space would be an action horror.
I mean, like Claire Obscure Expedition 33 came out recently.
That's
not perfect timing. Yeah, but it's still real. I'm talking about I'm going just cycling back to AA for a second. I think Claire Obscure can be classed as AA, right? Because
I have no idea. I don't know what the budget for that game was.
Well, let's put it this way: that game came out and it was like what 50 instead of like usual 70.
Yeah, I mean they re-released Oblivion and that was £50, and it's on sale right now, as of stream.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Even a double A game is freaking expensive. Even indie games are freaking expensive and can be a company sinker even these days, which is just a sign of how unstable this industry is.
It's fine because Sony's about to release The Last of Us 2 remastered, enhanced edition.
Why does that not sound like a joke?
Because it isn't.
Speaking of indies, this is technically where we start to get a bit more of them, like in the console PC space. Like Cave Story came out in 2004.
It did, didn't it? Forget. I sometimes. Oh, Shantae. Yeah, Shantae came out on the GBA as well.
GBC.
Yep. GBC. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just. Yeah. That's. So like this was around like the very early indie period. Although I don't know how you'd count Shantae because the first game was published by Capcom on the original GBC. So
I mean,
Oh, geez,
GBA
Shantae
was
was
the
just
sixth gen portable, was Nintendo's sixth gen portable. So
Mm.
what, Joey?
the GBA was Nintendo's sixth gen portable. So
Right.
Yeah, it was. The Game Boy Color was 5th gen, though.
yeah.
That's where Shantae started. I mean, there
Wait,
was.
does that make the
is a
Game Boy
Shantae game on
itself fourth
GBA.
gen?
Hang on, it's weird because the GBA was already out by the time Shantae came out on the GBC, but they were too late in the development of the game to be able to do anything about it. So the best thing they could do was add some enhancements for the GBA to be able to do anything like to count it. If you know.
I mean, the cool part about the GBA is every single game made for a Nintendo portable before it is a GBA game.
Yes, actually yes. So you could really you could just slot one in and then play it on that, and it was good times. Good times.
Oh yeah.
What was I going to say?
GBA is just king.
Yeah, we got I guess, the early starts of quote-unquote modern indie gaming. Like, Toho predates 6th gen, but it was still going on throughout 6th gen.
Oh no, it's still going on now. Like that train ain't stopping anytime soon.
Toho DDR slaps.
Yes, and I'll be on that next week, so I'll take a video and show you.
Yeah.
Sag.
Yeah, Toho is really old by this point.
But it's still going strong. It's like still got really. It's one of okay.
We have
So
like
I
3
do-
generations of edgelords that started their edgelord journey from Bad Apple.
Yeah.
I do wonder if Zune has like an apprentice.
I do wonder about that as well because I think it's just you said like Toho ends when like he doesn't want to make it anymore or something.
Yep, which will probably be when he's fucking dead.
He'll probably do it till. I think he's just gonna keep going till he drops. I won't lie.
Even then.
I mean, at this
like,
point, he can basically just like toss it off to a studio and oversight it.
Let's also put it this way as well. We've got like loads of different studios making different Toho games. I mean, we've got Bandai Namco, like.
I mean, Bandai Namco are
publishing-
taking that license places.
I mean, like even if the main series stops, like the fan games are still going to be going on pretty much
Amy
indefinitely.
mentioned Spell Bubble.
I would not be surprised if we end up with Toho Pachinko.
As far as that hasn't happened yet.
It probably
So
already
am
does
I.
exist if someone wants to Google it, but I think it might probably already
Let
exist.
me fact check. But shall we have a shall we start talking about maybe the Xbox a little bit?
Yeah, I don't even know like where we're going anymore. Like,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Dreamcast, great
I'm
console,
physically
great,
incapable of
vibe.
playing games at the moment. I'm just too tired. So
that's fine. Kuminashi Collection 2, maybe. What is it?
The Xbox is actually the first 6th gen console I ever owned.
Same.
It's the first console I can actually remember like my family bringing home, sort of.
It's
I
the
lost
first.
my PS1 because of it, which meant I couldn't play Crash 3 anymore, which meant I was just adrift.
It's the first. It's the first one I owned myself, and it was where
apparently my family did own a Genesis.
My family owned one as well, but
Before I was
Genesis
born.
there?
I've never seen it.
it was before I was born as well. Apparently, my brother broke it.
Oh, I know my brother broke it.
Joe, you've disappointed me because you called it a Genesis and not a Mega Drive.
Oh yeah, Mega Drive. Yeah.
I
Um,
call it by what I know it from. Thanks, nerd.
So
Yeah.
I owned an Xbox, didn't know what a Microsoft was back then, but
Well,
like,
it's someone that
Xbox.
announces games 4 years in advance, then closes the studio before it, like 2 days before it's ready to launch.
Or maybe Shadow drops an absolute instant hit and then closes that studio months later.
Yeah, I
Yeah, they're not
well,
gonna close Bethesda.
I'm not talking about Bethesda. I'm talking about Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tango Gameworks.
never heard of it.
it's
You fucking. All right.
no comment.
It's too late.
So yeah, my experience with the Xbox is, I'm not sure how similar it is to everyone else's, but my older brother, who was probably already in high school by that point, yeah, I guess he bought it because Halo was the game in the United States for a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember him inviting his friends, playing that sucker in the basement, and yeah, I played Halo at the age of 5 because
And
That's not breaking things.
the thing about Halo, it's rated M for money, but at least if you're just doing the multiplayer, it's relatively tame as far as first-person shooters go.
I think my first like mature game was the original Grand Theft Autos at the age of like 6 or 7.
oh wow.
Like the top-down ones.
My first mature
but
game
because
was Doom.
nice, that is actually really nice.
Like
Um,
Halo is an interesting case where, like, again, you're playing a game where you're shooting each other, but like half the crew are like surreal-looking aliens, like they're half of like Power Rangers, so I guess the violence is kind of just
it can
It's
pass as
muffled a bit.
cartoonish.
Well, that and also you're not shooting realistic guns either.
My second mature game was a game called Loaded.
Never heard of it.
Imagine Doom if it was top-down and actually gory.
Well,
There was a game on the Xbox called Gunmetal. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's
Yeah, I've heard of it.
yeah, because it's literally like a huge mech transforming into a jet and back. That was an instant favorite of mine because at the time I was also going through a massive Transformers phase. So,
I mean, Transformers are
clicked
pretty
for me.
cool.
Pretty
They
much.
are.
Giant robots are just pretty cool, but in general,
yeah.
I fucking
Vegas
love giant
XLR.
robots.
We love giant robots, but yeah, nice.
Get you a chick that digs giant robots.
Giant robots are just fucking cool. But I think some of my first memories of the Xbox were just like going through GTA San Andreas, and also that was at the age of 12.
I do remember back then as well, like, people in school were always obsessed, like, asking me if I had, like, 18 plus games. Like, it was like,
Oh no!
It
If
was
you had
just-
an 18+ game on the playground, you were instantly the cool kid.
yeah.
Oh yeah, everyone knew the one kid with Grand Theft Auto, and that's the kid we hung out with.
Yeah.
There's also Worms Forts Under Siege. I don't know if anybody's heard of that Worms game.
I don't think so.
I don't have it.
Was it one of the
my
3D
PC.
ones?
Yes, it's the one just after 3D, but it was
Yeah.
basically instead of just going around a map blowing shit up, you constructed a huge fort with different kinds of buildings and stuff like that, and then started blowing shit up. It was a bit more. It was a bit of a shake up to the formula of Worms, but I have to say,
Team
it was...
Team 17 need to start taking drugs again.
yeah, they really do.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the 3D Worms games.
Yeah, I grew up with Worms 3D and Worms 4 Mayhem.
I played
And
3D.
Worms
I
World
haven't...
Party.
World Party and Armageddon were the ones I had.
Fucking good.
They were really good games.
I might stream Forts Under Siege on Discord at some point, but yeah.
I would I would absolutely destroy you all in World Party. Trust me, bro.
Probably. I'm not I played Worms. I'm not good at it.
Yeah, same.
Worms Armageddon's on the Switch. Like it's also
Yeah. It's got online. We should play that.
We should play that.
Yeah, getting
What was I gonna say?
Worms, classic Worms to work on PC is a fucking nightmare.
I've experienced it.
Yeah, I've done it
exper-
as well.
I've experienced trying to get Worms on PC working. It sucks.
I've
I mean, we
got
did
it
it. We
working
did it
with
for a
the
day.
online. It is a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget how I honestly forget what like installing PC games used to be like before Steam.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is with Steam.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Um,
And I do miss like packing PC games. That's not PC is pretty much almost exclusively digital nowadays.
Yeah.
I do miss like the CDs and all that.
PCs
I
do not
mostly
have
had
CD players or DVD players anymore.
Yeah.
CDs nuts.
My PC
I used
has
to
a fan array instead of 3.5-inch bays.
Like, does anyone like remember when you would put like a CD game into your PC and the fan would just go crazy?
I
Yeah,
remember having
my PC's
putting.
fans still go crazy.
I remember
Yeah.
putting the original like GTA, for the PS1.
Yeah.
Putting that disc into like a CD player, and like you could listen to the the songs that were on the radio.
Yeah.
Game. It was
Yeah.
so fun. Like that. Just
Yeah.
like, the fact that you could just do that was so good.
You knew that with PS1 game. You can't do that with any other game.
PS1.
Yeah.
That's why PS1. That's why PS1 just ruled that generation. I'm sorry.
I used to.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I probably said this like 2 episodes ago, but when I was at when I was at one of those cousins' houses, I think I put a Dreamcast disc into their PS2 or a PS2 disc into their Dreamcast. I can't remember which.
In my opinion, the PS3 on a complete hardware level is just an absolute failure.
You're not wrong in a lot of that, to be fair.
I mean, my reason is selfish, but there are actually good reasons.
There was a lot of like development issues with that console though. Like the original
Yeah.
Bayonetta, like the port for the PS3 was just awful.
I mean, that's kind of where I feel a lot of the issues with the PS3 lie, where the general architecture for development it was just so weird compared to the other consoles that like it just caused issues.
The fact
Like,
that it had a PS1 emulator built into it, but it couldn't emulate PS2 games.
It could.
Um,
The first,
The
Well,
very first model
originally,
that's likes to
yeah.
self-destruct due to its poor heating and
Yeah.
ventilation.
There was. What was I gonna say? Okay, I guess since we're on the
Right,
topic, I guess
other
of
issues
Sony's
as well.
architecture. Based off what I've heard, the PS2 was not necessarily a picnic to develop for third parties either. They just kind of sucked it up because Sony was
two
the
consoles.
market leader.
Right.
There were at least incentives.
The
Yeah.
incentive was make this game port, or you will never develop for our system again.
Well then, when like a console has like such a crazy install base, like you got to do it for the money. It's like when you have
I
something
can
like
say that, but I can say that, but a lot of third parties just kind of ignored the Wii and Switch when it was convenient for them.
Well, in
Well,
fairness,
yeah, but, like-
okay, I'm gonna say this in fairness to the Wii. There was a lot of like weird ass, because of how seamless like porting between the Xbox 360 and PS3, for the most part, was.
yeah.
Like PS3 was just hell to develop for, and in some cases for the Xbox 360, some games needed 3 discs. There's a reason
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 4 didn't get released, and I say released because there was a port being made for the 360, and that's recently got confirmed with some actual footage. So, yeah.
I think the difference is as well is that with 6th gen, like even if like the console is like less powerful, it's still in like relatively the same range as Xbox and GameCube, so they like it's still possible to port a lot of stuff to it. Whereas like with Wii, that's like a massive difference compared to PS3 and 360.
Yeah, because the Wii, in essence, was a beefed up GameCube, and when you and the GameCube, like as an when it comes down to it, is still a previous gen console.
Yeah.
When they were showing off the Wii, they had like a Wii model in the they had a Wii model in the case, but in actuality, what was actually running Super Mario Galaxy was a literal beefed up GameCube in the back. So
Oh yeah.
so that's
My
why
gosh.
that's why the Wii got skipped over with a lot of games,
Yeah,
because
it just or it just got different versions.
yeah, Sonic Unleashed high,
Yeah.
because it was basically they'd have to start it'd be backporting in other words. So
Right. I think the thing with the Switch as well, like like developers like really like try their best to put the games on the Switch because like again like system is like one of the best selling consoles ever made, but like there's still limits. Like there's a lot of stuff that just can't work on Switch just due to hardware limitations, which from what I understand, a lot of those restraints are going to be lifted with Switch 2, but like yeah, there's just stuff that just no matter what they do, it just wouldn't function. So like there's definitely like limits to that.
Switch 2 is going to be the big, let's say, the big test for how well FSR can actually pull a lot of weight, because when you look at like Street Fighter 6 and Cyberpunk, they're both running at like what 500p and then being boosted like through FSR. So
Right.
that's what's
Um
and when you it just looks so good. Like
yeah. Like
oh,
it's very impressive technology. I do think we should probably start rapid firing for a lot of the stuff because I don't want to keep Joey up for much longer because I just looking at the stream and everything like I can tell he's dying right now.
It's 3 a.m.
Yeah. So I just yeah just but yeah I said most of what I want about the generation in general.
okay.
Quickly going over my feelings about GameCube. Like GameCube is arguably my favorite console. Like it's either that or the Switch. But like GameCube just had a lot of really good exclusives, and it's yeah, that was I have a lot of memories with that. Just playing a lot of Mario Kart, a lot of Mario Party, and like a lot of multiplayer stuff. Melee, obviously. Um, like that was pretty much my multiplayer console of choice for that generation.
Like the GameCube is just I think the GameCube like picked up like the most, like probably had the most charm of all the of all the consoles that generation. But
Yeah.
it's so
It was the
strange
last
because
console that looked like a toy, and I mean that as a compliment.
oh no,
Yeah.
I'm looking at my GameCube right now. It's literally sat right next to me, and it's just like yeah, the it's it. You could tell Nintendo like was a toy company in a
Oh
previous,
yeah.
and I think you could still look at it like that now because they'll. I mean the Joy Cons look like toys when
Yeah.
you look, like when it comes down to it. But yeah, the GameCube like picked up the slack with the charm that generation because that came out the year the Dreamcast died,
Mm-hmm.
and I think my
Yeah,
first
gaming
memory.
got a little less fun when Sega went third party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think I also just like GameCube because it's one of Nintendo's most weird generations. Like we had like a lot of the established IPs were doing really strange and uh different things. And then you had stuff like Pikmin that were just very strange and unique.
After the Super Nintendo and N64, we didn't get a launch like mainstream Mario game. We got
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion, which probably put a lot of people off. We obviously got
Ye-
Super Mario Sunshine a few years later, but like it was even then that was still one of the black sheeps of the series.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't call Luigi's Mansion mainline, but like
That's
still.
what I'm,
That's what,
no,
that's what Lou
I
was
didn't say
saying.
that. That's what I'm saying. We
Okay.
didn't get
Yeah.
mainline. We got Luigi's Mansion instead.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think my first memories were a golf game and what was it? Oh yeah, Pokemon Colosseum. That was one of my first.
The game slapped.
The game slaps, and I still haven't played XD, and I can't wait to play that with the Switch too. But
Mhm.
that's beside the point. I never played F-Zero GX though. That's the thing.
There's a lot of games I
That's my list.
didn't.
Apparently, no one did.
Yeah, like there's a lot of games that I didn't get to play, but I mean, this was back during the time when like we were still kids. Like we could only get so many games through like gifts and through our allowance and all that. So
I think that's one of the reasons why, as you grow up, gaming gets a little bit less magical because
yeah,
you get the income and then you can spend money on games like more often than you were able to get games as a child.
yeah, like
When you were a child, your parents brought home games. That was how you got games, and it felt magical when they pulled out the box with the game, and that was it for the next week or so. You played that fucking game.
Yeah.
But now when you've got income, it's a bit weird because now you can just hop on the eShop or whichever storefront you subscribe to, and just buy a game or go to CEX and buy one second hand. It's
yeah,
I
like
love
it's a
gaming
very
still, by all
different.
means, but
It's a very different feeling because like back then, you like it feels like you have a much bigger library than you actually had. I know I felt that way. Like I thought I had a huge GameCube library, but when I look at it now, like it's decent, but like it's not that big, all things considered. So it's kind of like, you know,
I think I own maybe how many GameCube games I own at what's the most GameCube games I owned at once? Maybe 12.
yeah,
I mean, that's not bad, but like that is tiny compared to some people.
yeah,
What I associate the game, I got a GameCube in 2004. My brother, I guess, just brought it home. I think he said people were selling it for cheap, and I think that was the time when Nintendo was like doing aggressive discounts for it because, yeah, it didn't
they
do as
needed
well
to
as they
sell
hoped.
GameCubes.
oh yeah, because
To some degree,
consoles
the
not,
GameCube suffered for the N64's sins.
yeah,
Sadly.
yeah.
But
That's like this is where
also fight me. The GameCube controller had a really good face button layout.
yeah, I was gonna say like the GameCube is still one of the best controllers. Like I think it's it still feels really comfortable to me, and like I don't think you can play every game on it. Like I think GameCube controller, I think it works really well for GameCube games specifically. But if you go beyond that, that's when things get a little bit fiddly. But like it works really well for the console.
It's like if the N64 controller and the DualShock had a baby.
Yeah.
Or the Xbox controller.
Hmm. So I got my GameCube in 2004. I think it came with the Zelda Collector's Edition, which had that compilation of the N64 and NES Zeldas, which would probably be worth a lot of money now. And I sold it like an idiot. So
I think I still have that line around.
hold it, cherish it. So
Wait, which one?
the Collector's Edition of the compilation of Zelda games they released in the lead up to Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
I love that thing. I played that so much.
That is the only reason I know anything about the N64 Zeldas. And I sucked ass at all of them. So, what was I going to say? Frick. Yeah, I owned it. I had enough like secondary knowledge of Nintendo from, I guess, owning a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance. Love Pokemon Sapphire. GBA is a goated handheld, by the by. And we need an episode about that because that is a 6th-gen system too.
I do. I want a full Game Boy Advance episode. I think
We can probably do that at this point. I definitely think we should try and wrap up soon because we've been going for a bit.
I never owned an N64, but I knew it because I played it like at barbershop, cousins' houses. Mario 64 is a magical thing to watch, and
Mario 64. I've been playing it on the Switch app recently. It's still such a good game to play.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on that alone.
Oh, Mario 64 episode.
Yeah. Because I have a lot to say about that game.
Well, I want to go through it and 100% like get all 120 stars before I can contribute to that because I want to experience that game to its fullest, like
Yeah.
fullest. So like, I've already
So-
100%ed like 3 worlds already, so that'll be fun.
I owned a GameCube, obviously enjoyed most stuff I had on it. I rented Sunshine, never owned it, unfortunately. And I was a weird child where I was just somehow hyper nostalgic for things that were only a few years old, but when you're like 8, things 2 years ago feel like a lifetime ago.
Yeah. I think
So I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
I played Sunshine. I had no knowledge of what a good game design was, but for some reason I just could not vibe with it like I did with 64. And
I can understand the sentiment. Honestly, like nowadays I feel like Sunshine gets unfairly bashed on too much, but like
Yeah,
I
yes, it does.
like yeah.
it was a similar feeling I had, I guess, playing Wrath of Cortex versus playing Crash 3. I was just too attached to the 5th gen game because they were formative experiences for me. So
That is
even
fair.
with flaws, acknowledge I was not giving their 6th gen sequels a fair shake.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I kind of felt about the GameCube. I didn't know about its low sales when I was a child. I didn't know
Oh,
that
God.
all of its,
I don't
I
think any
didn't
of us
know
did.
that most of its sequels were kind of divisive at the time. But I don't know, I'm not sure. Maybe I picked it up. No, I did not pick it up. I just was nostalgic for 5th gen. So I assumed, okay, this is lesser. But
Hmm.
it wasn't until years later that I kind of saw, okay, people did think the GameCube was a disappointment when it was new. So I think that just kind of informed my own opinions on it, or reinforced my opinions. Before
That is very interesting. Actually, you go. You finish first.
now, I'm a GameCube baby. You love that system. Monkey Ball 2 rules.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I've still never played Monkey Ball, and I still
I-
need to get on that.
I never played the. Well, okay, I played Monkey Ball Adventure. I never played like 1 and 2. I played the remake. I know
Well,
there's
the
like
remake's
some.
acceptable, like substitutes for it. Then
The remake is really good. Like, if you talk to like hardcore fans, apparently there's some weird differences in the physics. But as someone that's never played them, I thought it was perfectly fine.
I'm sure the remakes have got their own like hardcore speedrunning community now. It's been out a few
Probably.
years, I can imagine. So
I mean, there's the remake, and then there's the completely new one that came out afterwards.
yeah, like 2 remakes and then a new one.
Yeah.
Monkey Ball got busy in recent years, and I found that amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Sega paid attention to more of their fucking IPs, and now
I mean,
what
Monkey
have we
Ball
got?
never really went away, so
Yeah, well, it more so, I
it-
think Monkey Ball remembered like why people liked it so much. I guess like they never stopped making them, but they kind of lost the plot a little bit.
more like they fell off. Wah!
Yeah,
But
I heard the Vita game was decent.
I wouldn't know about that.
Neither would I. How many people even had a Vita?
How many people? Honestly, what were Vita sales compared to the GameCube? I actually would like to know this.
Isn't
Yeah.
the Vita an 8th gen portable?
Yes,
it-
an 8th gen portable.
Right. Yeah.
So about
No,
the
no,
GameCube,
it wasn't 8th gen. It was still 7th gen.
no,
Came out
PSP
in
was
2011.
7th gen, Vita was 8th.
It was
Okay. Hold up.
fact check. Vita.
Xbox 360 was 2006.
So technically, the Vita was the first.
Actually, I think-
system out.
I think 360 was actually 2005.
Was it 2006 in Europe?
It might have been.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, the Vita was the first 8th gen system out. That's okay.
I think the 3DS predates it, but
Okay, so units sold PS Vita 14.1 million. Let me check the GameCube.
14 million for Via.
yes.
Okay, I'm looking at this. Apparently, its GameCube was like about 22 million. A little.
Yeah, 21.74 mil.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess going back to the GameCube, like I don't know, I guess I got more active in not Nintendo forums, just got more active and I guess aware of the gaming zeitgeist by the late 2000s by reading Nintendo Power, looking up forums, and yeah, I guess that definitely probably informed my thoughts on what the GameCube era was, I guess implied to be. but eventually I grew up. I looked back. Oh wow, there were actually some great games on this. I owned some of those great games, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a system that probably did not get as fair shake as it deserved, just due to some genuine issues with Nintendo's output at the time and just changing taste of the industry.
Yeah.
What was I trying to say? Like, Nintendo's developers didn't stop making good games. Just sometimes the market just wasn't buying what they were selling.
Yeah, I think just during the 6th gen, people were just gravitating towards different kinds of games, and Nintendo doing a lot of the cartoony stuff, especially with something like Wind Waker. It just was kind of the wrong kinds of games to make at the time for that just that audience. It's kind of interesting just going back to, how people feel about it now, because it's they the GameCube has like a really big cult following now, but back then it was kind of a mess.
I think if Twilight Princess came out first and then Wind Waker came out, I think Wind Waker would have been a lot more forgiven.
Probably.
But the fact that the first the Wind Waker to begin with has managed to age a bit more gracefully than Twilight Princess still reinforces that art style just trumps everything else.
Yeah, GameCube is pretty much the maybe this was actually pretty good kind of console. Like in hindsight.
Yeah, I think Dreamcast is starting to get that love as well now.
Yeah.
Dreamcast has been. I mean, I don't think it was ever unpopular, but it's been, I guess, vindicated several times over. At this point, you could.
I think it's always been like the underdog, but it's always been like well liked, I think.
Let's put it this way: we're finally getting Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi sequels coming up.
Yeah.
One of the those 5 games that were that were announced during Game Awards 2 years ago. One of them's actually finally coming out soon.
Nice.
So they're going to start trickling out. Thank God.
Yeah. To be fair, when they announced all those games, I assume that they were probably just in really early planning stages. They just wanted to show like, oh yeah, we're making all these old IPs are coming back.
I had a feeling Shinobi would be the first one out.
Yeah.
I just had the gut feeling it'd be Shinobi the first one coming out. But yeah, Sega are coming back, and I'm fucking loving it.
Yeah, they're like arguably some of the best they've ever been, really, right now.
When they make a sequel, Sega Superstars Tennis, which had some of those Dreamcast characters in talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like the GameCube, it was a solid system, and yes, given how people tend to whine about Nintendo franchises being so samey, yes, that experimentation was kind of welcome at the time. Like, Nintendo did not rest on its laurels in that era, so it was neat to have Mario get a water pack for a change, or Star Fox do some land combat every once in a while. Remember we could get Star Fox games?
Yeah, GameCube, like that era was like the time for Star Fox, especially.
That was the era where we had Star Fox games, Metroid games, and F-Zero.
Yeah, like all those stuff, like they were actually still like big things.
Yeah, Captain Falcon wasn't just a character in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Like,
we can I definitely think we can do like full episodes on a lot of these games, because there's a lot to go over. I don't think have we done a episode dedicated to like one specific game or something? Yeah, I feel like
we're going to be doing a Mario 64 one.
Yeah, because I think so far it's been just general like topics.
We have not done any episodes about a single game yet.
But
given I didn't even touch most of the licensed games that came out this generation, do that.
That's another big thing. Yeah.
Oh no.
To cap off, I guess my talk on the GameCube. I guess I'll circle back to the other game that
Shall we just quick fire?
Yeah, let's. I think let's. I can tell like this conversation will never end at this rate. So like, let's try and like wrap up as quick as we
first,
can.
first notable one I can think of is SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom and the movie game.
Thank you.
The ones that I have the most memories with were the Incredibles games.
Yes.
Were they incredible?
Debatable.
Spider-Man 2 for the PS2 and Xbox.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2. That was incredible. That's still a really good game.
I had the first movie game on Xbox.
That one's good too. It's not. It's pretty clunky, but like it's still. I think as far as licensed games go, it's still decent.
I hear people say like the Scooby-Doo games of 6th gen were actually pretty decent.
I've heard that too. I don't know much about those ones.
The funny thing about Scooby-Doo is one of my favorite games. Favorite Scooby-Doo games was a 5th gen one called for Cyber Chase, which was basically Crash Bandicoot.
I've seen Cyber Chase. I've never played. I never played the any console Scooby-Doo games. The only Scooby-Doo games I played were like these point and click stealth games or something. It was very interesting.
Yeah, Cyber Chase is the only animated Scooby-Doo film to get a game, which is interesting.
That is very interesting. It was basically Crash Bandicoot, but instead of spinning, you threw a pie. You had to conserve the pies, or if you got too far into the level and fought the boss, you ran out of pies, you would die. There was no other way of attacking attacking your enemy.
That is hilarious.
These games were made for children. Why were they always so balls to the walls hard?
Yeah, like those Spider-Man 2 on a GBA. I remember that being just ridiculously hard, and I can never beat it. I don't know what it is with these licensed games.
Cyber Chase was
the friggin' like THQ licensed games on GBA always have password systems to save your levels, man. They can kiss my ass for that.
Again, SpongeBob, THQ.
Yeah.
Yes, I had the movie game on GBA and like Power Rangers Ninja Storm on GBA.
The Ed, Edd n Eddy game on 6th gen was also pretty good.
Man, remember when kids shows could actually get games, and some of them were even good.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore. Like we barely even get mobile game tie-ins anymore.
To be honest with you, we probably could just do an episode on licensed games.
just any licensed games in any generation.
Yeah.
But although to be fair, we did get Cosmic Shake, which was actually pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, we still get licensed games, but I feel like 6th gen was like the king of that. Like we got them everywhere.
Okay, I guess to close off my GameCube TED Talk, I guess the other game, aside from Soul Calibur's Dreamcast port, that kind of, enforced to me that this is the future, was Super Smash Bros. Melee, because that was like we'd seen playing Nintendo characters in 3D before, but it was like high quality 3D without FMV opening, these nice bespoke kind of creepy models of characters in a trophy gallery, this was the future, even if it was very much a snapshot of N64 era Nintendo on the game.
Pretty much.
Like every Smash game is a snapshot of where Nintendo is, but Melee's probably the one that you can most easily kind of pinpoint it to a specific era.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I think Ultimate is a huge testament to how wide Nintendo's reach is compared to compared to something say the GameCube.
Sorry guys, but I do have to pull the plug now. I have been falling asleep for too long.
I was gonna say, I feel like we've been just never ending in this. Let's just wrap up.
Let's start earlier next time.
Didn't have a choice, and also
True.
level upon level of colossal fuck up have just been piling up. So
it's
Shall
fine.
we? Different day of the week.
We will discuss changing this to maybe a Thursday. Tomorrow.
Yeah, we can see something about it. I pretty much said all I needed to. A lot of this stuff we're saying now can just be its own episode.
Shall we do a Mario 64 episode next time?
No.
Can I complain about Luigi not being there?
I mean,
At
if
least
we
he
do
wins by
that,
doing nothing.
if we did a Mario 64 thing, I could just host it and Joey can just sit that one out. Honestly.
If you want to, of course.
You know what, Matt?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, as we know, regardless, next week there won't be an episode. The week after there will be an episode. Whether that's a Friday or Thursday, we will figure it out.
Yeah.
I think
Six
I'll be more readily available as well because
Yeah.
now I'm not working at Mojo. I don't have to worry about like overnight shifts.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Lewis worked at Mojo Plays. Oh my god.
Yeah, they paid shit as well.
No,
Yeah,
long story short, 6th-gen consoles baller.
They
Yeah.
are pretty fucking pog. Thank you
Yeah.
for watching this episode of SEESCast. We hope you enjoyed. We've been your well, to be fair, I'm the host. These guys are just like here because I keep bringing them here against their will. They don't have a choice.
We hope you
Especially
enjoy this
not today.
podcast.
Save us.
yeah. He bought me a drink on my birthday and said you are now obligated to show up to any SEEScast I see fit. You have no fucking stay.
Yeah,
And I just downed the drink.
yeah.
Hope you all
Bro was
have
into
enjoyed.
What?
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 Who's wrong?
We hope you all have enjoyed the episode that was as long as screens in the Raptor Cortex.
Neat. Does anyone want to interrupt Scrappy again?
No.
Great. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time.
Bye.
See ya.